So today we are going to go over our entire Impact 20 methodology and the system behind it.
Sounds like an awesome plan.
Yeah, but we don't. The whole purpose of it is not about what we do or who we are, right? Really, it's about getting impact for our business owners that we work with, and so we want to put this out there into the ether so that anybody can find this and use it, right? So let's do a very brief intro about who we are and what brought us to this.
Love it.
So go ahead, Brian. Tell the story about us.
Yeah, so we both have very similar paths. Obviously different nuances, but we've been owning our own businesses and working in corporate America simultaneously for a long time, going down this journey. Like I said, we're both pretty similar with different nuances. Then we started doing, we're always doing it on the side, but we started doing hardcore consulting, and we just realized more and more over time that we wanted to really help the small business owners, and we wanted to do it in a slightly different way with a little bit more prioritization.
Yeah, definitely. We've worked for large consulting firms, helping big companies make money, and even big small businesses, right? However that's defined. And our goal, because we have friends, family, we're tightly knit with the entrepreneur community in general. And, me and you talk about this all the time. Entrepreneurs are, a different breed of person.
Yeah.
And we like them and love them. Those are our friends, our people, right?
Yeah, I always visualize it as they're like the backbone of the American spirit. It's the type of person that came here 200 years ago. They were the go-getters, the movers. They were willing to take action. And that's the continuation of that spirit.
And so consulting in general is kind of built for a larger company. You need to kind of wait till you have the resources to get help. Well, the American small business and entrepreneurial landscape has always been sink or swim, right? If you don't drown in the first couple of years, then you might have the resources to succeed and really thrive. That's been our mission from day one, is how small can we get? Because even after we started doing our own thing outside of working with large consulting firms, we were working for still really big companies that had a lot of resources. And so this entire Impact 20 system is for the very small guy, right? What would you say is small? Who's this ideal for?
Small, revenue, obviously the smaller you get, but we're talking, downwards of 10 million in top line revenue, maybe even, under 5 million. And, employee base, some of this depends a little bit on what industry, but, we're talking, under 20 employees is probably our key alignment.
So how low do you think, okay, I'm a business owner, and, what's the lowest revenue that somebody or resources could kind of start looking at this and think this is a good tool for them?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So this is one of the things that we've really tried to solve, and we have a lane almost, we can go pretty small, 50,000 a year. Doesn't mean you're going to have to get the same tools as, 2 million a year, but like we've tried and dedicated to create a product or a service or support structure for each strata.
Yeah, that's the exciting thing, is that this is for startups, restarts, hobbyists, right? A hobby business is anything under 250K. That's who this is built for, them all the way up to 5-10 mil, right?
Yeah.
Because once you hit 5 and 10 mil, you've got different problems and you have different resources. So the way you're going to solve them is very different.
Yeah.
And this is for...
And I agree. It's the resources thing. It's like if you're at 10 mil, you've done a lot of things right. Maybe you don't need as much guidance, because this is why the big companies, they just hire somebody, they're literally a consultant. They just hire them internally, so you'll get to a point where you could just hire somebody.
So what is it? What is our Impact 20 system?
Great.
Let's just define that right away, right? So, I know who it's for, whatever.
Yeah, couple key things. First off, Pareto principle is where we get our name, okay? We want to focus on the 20%, okay, that it's going to get 80 and drive 80% of the results, okay? So lean and mean about things that really matter and are going to really push success, ROI, revenue, and of course, profit.
One thing that we should have said as well is, who is this for? It's for that business owner who is working in their business still.
Yep.
They're spending 40 to 60 hours a week. You know, the average is, I think, 50 to 60 hours a week the business owners work in their business in America.
And there's a small little nuanced lie they're telling themselves. They're telling themselves that they're doing the right things, okay? But it's that 5 or 10% that they don't like doing and aren't doing that is hard capping them
Exactly.
from the next level.
Exactly. And so this is for, the entire system was created for those people. So if I'm going to steal away, I'm working 50 to 60 hours a week, I'm busy, I'm tired, but I know that I need to work on my business, right? So I can dedicate maybe 2 to 3 hours a week to work on my business, where I literally, you say steal it away, right?
Yeah.
You got to sneak out of your business to do this work. And that's what this work is. It's that top 20% of the Pareto principle of working on your business, the things that are going to get the fastest return on investment, meaning fastest increase in profit for those 3 hours, the fastest for being more efficient, meaning, well, let's work on things that are going to help me steal away more and more time.
Yep.
Right? Replacing myself.
You know, and we're going to deep dive into all of our topics, so I don't want to spend too much time knocking each one out, but it's about creating the system and repeatable process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, if I had to, short summary, it's all the things you're not doing that are important. Okay. It's the stuff you're not doing. It's like, okay, where was your weekly, I call it a workflow meeting, but to be more specific for the general entrepreneur, what are you getting accomplished? Not in your business. Like, oh, I cut grass, or, I did.
How many lawns did we cut today?
It's like, yeah, okay, what did you improve? Nothing. Well, okay, so then over times that over infinity, and you've improved nothing.
Yeah.
So you got to plan that work. And if you don't have a lot of time, then it's even more important to plan that work.
And you always say this, that, as a business owner, if we create a system to solve problems, right?
Yep.
Where you solve one problem a week.
It's one of my favorite things. 52 weeks later.
52 weeks later, you solve 52 problems. Huge. So that is the outline of the purpose of the system, right?
Yep.
And the things that we're going to talk about in the next, 10 or 15 videos, we're going to go over those top 20% items, each of them, right?
I'm excited, man.
And then, so the purpose of this video, how would you describe the purpose of these videos going on?
Is really just to do a short dive into specific topics, kind of little tease on the process, a little tease on the flow, and a little bit of value add where you get to see and envision how you could do it yourself and the real value of the flow.
This is very different than what most business leaders or motivators or coaches are doing in, with the work with small business owners. They're doing a lot of talking about strategy and stuff like that. And so tell us, how is this system different than what they're doing, and why is it different?
This is probably the most important question you've asked. So it really comes down to, and I see this in other industries too, a lot of people right now want credit for effort. Okay, so where we see it in the coaching sphere is strategic thinking, create a vision plan, create this, where are you going to be in 5 years? Now, all that's important.
Extremely valuable.
Okay.
Like, don't want to downplay that.
But the reality is, like, where are you going to be in 5 years? Yeah, there's nothing short term to be accountable to. And it's that separation. So what we do differently is we make it probably about 20% strategy and 80% tactical. Like, no, you're going to do this. No, you're going to, by next week, I want to see an improved sales deck. What's a sales deck? Geez, maybe that'd be useful for people to know. Okay, and figure out how to create one. Okay, how do I launch a product? Should I launch a product? How am I going to drive revenue this year? Okay, now, even though it has a little strategic layer, but it's all about like the actual how. And a quick summary is, like, if I had a bunch of ideas for 5 years from now, or 3 or 4 things that I could do in the next 90 days that would actually drive revenue, let's say, by 20%.
That you could get across the finish line.
Yeah, drive revenue, and I'm at a good profit margin. Okay, now they both won't be important, but if you could only do one of them, you do this. And then you do that 20 more times.
Yep.
Okay. And you'll get really close to those goals anyway. So that's kind of what we try and do differently is we really try and get into the tactical, help people see how to both critical think and critical problem solve, add to their creative energy. And then, all along the way, like I said, 20%, we're still doing the strategic. So we're still sprinkling through the strategic stuff.
We're looking 5 years out, and we know statistically most businesses won't be here in 5 years. Small businesses, startups.
I'm
right?
not sure, about 80% is what pops in my head, but
Yeah, and
that number could change a little bit. But
and so what our mission is with this is to triage, is to make sure you are here in 5 years, and hopefully that business is better off than it would have been if they just happened to make it by accident.
Right? Absolutely, man.
So if you are a business owner like this, take a look, and like I said, plan for 20% of your time is planning. The rest is executing. That's our mission here.
Yeah, following around, man. We're gonna change business owners' lives and their teams' lives. So come along for the journey.